So some of these we approved via email.
Right.
Yeah.
So items 83, 84, and 97 were previously approved last week.
Yep.
Okay.
37 is, just, you can tell by the numbers, it's a little older. It dates back to when they were doing the foundations, and it had to do with how they formed the foundations around the columns, the
Yeah.
piers.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of back and forth. This was, I think they submitted 28,000.
The original was, 24,000.
24,000. And so we've kind of, Jen and Matt have been working with them and getting them, pushing back. And so we think this is a reasonable and fair resolution to what the additional work that they had to do.
It was 28,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 24 to
24,
28,
28,
somewhere in
yeah.
that range.
Okay.
The next one, number 81, or is that 61?
Yep.
81, okay. Circulation desk changes. This had to do with the media center. Emily had suggested pushing the desk in, to the side to make the room more functional or more flexible. So it was just a matter of adding some conduits and putting some things in the wall in that location. The work has already been done, but it's $6,275. It was really just do it and then give us, keep track of your time because of timing. They were working in that area. They were ready to put up sheet rock, so we had to get that done.
Yep.
83 and 84 we talked about. 88 is removing an unforeseen manhole that was adjacent to the catch basin at the Barnes property. And Matt, maybe you can talk a little bit about this, but I think it was just
Yeah,
that
it was totally unknown. It was buried. It wasn't on the existing plans. Nobody knew about it. And it, when we found it, I gave Kirk a call and explained it to him.
yeah, so
It had to come out.
as far as buried surprises go,
We'll
this is
take-
very reasonable,
we'll- we'll-
$1,700.
we'll take- Yeah, we'll take the,
Sold.
yeah,
You know?
Right.
Can be a lot worse. 92 is for a time capsule, and Matt has some literature we can pass out later and talk about.
Is that the one that was in the playground? 'Cause
No,
I
this
have
one
it.
would be a new one to put on a wall in the building. It's basically a aluminum cylinder that you fill up with stuff.
Well, we
and-
owned the cylinder. This
Oh.
is actually to, we had decided we wanted to locate it behind the old building committee plaque that we're gonna put in the lobby. So we actually we bought a cabinet, which is essentially a fire extinguisher cabinet that you could put the capsule in and lock it
Yeah.
behind the wall. So that's for
Okay.
the cabinet.
Fire department asked for 2 Knox boxes. That's basically the little box that's attached to the building that has all the keys to the building. So they go in with their master key, open it up, and then they have the keys to the. When the fire department asks, you just say, okay.
Yeah.
Especially if it's only $1,200. Revising the hard ceiling to acoustical ceiling tile with soffits in various locations. And this is a ballpark number,
What is an
but we
MEP?
wanna give them the authorization to go ahead, because what happens is at the, those little group meeting rooms in, off the corridors, there was a hard ceiling in that location, and then there was this type of ceiling in between. But we have mechanical equipment above that hard ceiling, and we need to be able to access it, so.
So
there-
if, as an alternative to that, there you'd have multiple little access panels in this hard ceiling. Whereas if you just put ceiling tile, it's easier to get up there. And some of it was, with coordination, shifting around boxes just to get everything to fit in there.
Yeah.
Where we might have shown it offset so you could access it in the ACT. I mean, things like that happen.
We feel it's a pretty conservative number.
Yeah.
So we're hoping it's a lot less than this.
Should be.
But, yeah, that's at least a round figure that we think we should be safe to cover whatever they have to do. And that's on 3 floors or 2 floors? All 3?
All 3, there's, I think 7 locations.
In the classroom wing, in the 3 floors. And then the next one, 96, is upgrading the fiber optic cable. I'm not sure exactly what was specified, versus what we're getting.
So, yeah, it wasn't clear what was specified, so Griffin obviously submitted on a 4-strand cable, fiber optic cable. Mike Wakefield's, the standard for the district is a 12 cable. So Griffin priced and said to upgrade to that, it's $7,000, so.
But we did check back with Mike on what was being proposed, and he blessed it, so.
Okay.
So, we do have, a bunch of other things that we're tracking, but nothing that is imminent that we felt we needed to bring up to your attention just yet. And some of it may go away. If an RFI or a question in the field comes up and we give them a response, sometimes there'd be a cost, sometimes we think there might be a cost and it never comes up, so it just goes away. But financially, we're doing really, really, really well.
So the 25,000 could be less for the hard ceiling
Yes.
versus the soft ceiling, because that's somewhat unknown, but the rest of these are
Our
actual?
Our actual, yeah.
Okay.
So Carter has been asking about, he's doing his bonding. He wants to know how much he's gonna be spending and, trying to get cash flow projections. And so, we've spent so little of our contingency, that there is no possible way for us really to spend at all. So I've been,
What do you mean by spend it all? What do you mean by, spend it all?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, all right, yeah. Of the contingency.
yes,
Yeah.
because we've kept the bid savings in the project. So there's that bid savings.
Yeah, that phone call is Monday.
Immediately, that goes away, because we're not gonna be spending that. Even if we were to spend all of our contingency, which we would have a hard time doing, we certainly wouldn't be spending the bid savings.
Is that
unless
even
you
with-
really wanted to add something to the project, like another wing.
Yeah.
Um,
No, we're good. But that's even with the FF&E being, when I say so far over, just because it was
Yes.
such a low amount for the equipment versus the,
Yeah.
whatever it was, so, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, so, as part of the report to the full group, we have this sheet. And this kind of tracks, column A was your project funding agreement budget. So you came out of the before bid, your budget was $45 million. If you look at the bottom of that, you'll see, just right above the black line there, in column A, your construction contingency of 3.145. I think it was really only about 1.1 or in that range, and we put all the bid savings into that line item.
Right.
So, I don't know what we've spent to date out of contingency, but, we haven't spent a dime out of owner's contingency. And, I think we, of the 40, I think it's really a $43 million,
Total.
project, and I don't think we may spend 41 or, well, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to throw out a number, but we're doing really, really well. If you do see the bottom of column B, that's what we've been invoiced to date. So you've been invoiced for $22.7 million. And you have contracts with people for $39 million. That's the bottom of column C. So you haven't ordered furniture yet, you haven't ordered other things. So really, you have contracts up to $39 million. If you go to column F and G over to the far right, F is what, of the $22 million that has been spent to date, 16.6 million of it is eligible for reimbursement. That's our, you never know until the final audit, but as we go through it and track it, that's our estimate. And so of that, being at 63.11 or thereabouts for your reimbursement rate, you would get a grant of 10.5 million. So of the 22.7, really, and when you net it all out, you'll have spent 12.2.
Yep.
And we anticipate that you'll spend roughly another 8 million. So about 20 to 21 million of the 43 or whatever it comes out to be.
So, yeah. So it was interesting when I first, when I first got here, right? I was in the throes of this, the craziness, right? So about what it was gonna be on 45 million, it was always that, and everyone said, it's not going to be 45 million. I remember this very clearly, but no one really could come up with a number because nothing had been done yet, right? We
Yeah.
hadn't done anything yet. So, certainly we're not gonna throw numbers around now because we're not done, of course, but obviously, it's gonna be well below, that number. It's gonna be well below that, and that's all I say to people. I say, I have no idea what it's gonna be. We're not done. We're still building this thing, but, it's not gonna be, I can tell you, it's not gonna be 45 million. It's not. That's, I feel, obviously, it's not going to, and I think that's made, obviously, Carter and lots of other people feel very good, because,
Yeah, as it's tracking now, total project cost will be about 43 million, and cost to Templeton would be, say, 21 million.
Yeah.
22 million in that range. It really depends upon how much you spend, because, for instance, like your contingency lines, you don't really get much reimbursement. You're only like 1.5%. So basically, anything you spend out of contingency,
you won't.
basically,
You're gonna have to pay. Yeah.
Furniture, anything you spend over the minimum that they give you, or the maximum they give you, it's all out of your pocket.
Right.
So it can swing wildly, or it can swing a lot, the percentage that's to the district and not to the district. One thing that really helps this project is the small site, because the MSBA limits site reimbursement to 8%. So although we're probably already over 8% on this smaller site, you can imagine what a larger site,
Sure.
there's
If you
a
got like
lot more
Yeah.
of a percentage cost that goes to the town.
Chris, how do you see furniture going? Have you thought, where we're not spending as much, and we're allowed to spend up to what we told the town? Do you see some changes that you could make that would help for the future?
I have to say that probably one of the better discussions we had was around the FF&E budget. So all this, I call it the stuff conversation, right? The furniture, the tractor, snow plows, that
Yeah.
became a real, I won't say tough, but it was, what do we do? Because it was so far over the given number. And, and I thought Kirk said it best when he was here. He said, well, do you need it? And we said, yeah, because we don't have it. It's not like
Right.
we can pull it down from the other building. And I think you both said that. We need this snow plow. I'm going to call it a tractor. I don't even remember now. And it was a lot of money. But like they said, we don't have another one. It's not like we're getting greedy here. So, but we need to clear the snow. Of course, we're going to have to do
Right.
that. And plus, we're doing so well. In effect,
That's what I'm saying. Is there
right.
something that, are we allowed to do that, Tim?
You can spend whatever you want.
Well, because we had a certain budget, and
Right.
now I'm saying, can you think a little bit outside the box?
I think they have.
I have
I
gone-
would like that to be done.
Diane,
We've gone through that.
they really thought, and by they, I'm talking the teachers, the administrator, all the lists upon lists upon lists. I mean, our big
This is
discussion
like a
was about
golden
the lift.
opportunity.
was the lift, right? And Rick's like, well, we need a lift.
You do need
And we do need a lift, so
Legitimate.
we got it,
Okay,
because
good.
we would never have done it, of course, if we were up against,
Right.
over budget, oh my God. But because we don't
Because-
have anything in the district that even comes close to that, we would have to rent it anyway, which we figured out the cost of, buy it. Actually Hank that was Hank's, right? We talked about that for quite a bit, about why would we,
Well,
We lease it, it's
you're
gonna
gonna
be
have all this additional square footage. You're going to be up against it trying to staff to clean it.
yep.
So at least if you're gonna be tight with staff, at least give them the tools to be able to get it done.
Well, right.
And that's
of
exactly
course,
what
if
they
we
did.
were over, close to budget, and I'm not saying to go hog wild, because obviously it's for the betterment of the town, but this is still for the betterment of the town, so that's why I asked you you know, don't, you know, like, yes, we had this particular budget, but to help with, you know,
Well, we
I'm
talked
not
about a
saying you
shed.
haven't thought about that.
Here's a great example. So we haven't really had a huge discussion about this yet, but we know that we're gonna need some type of, I'm gonna call it a shed, right? It's gonna have lights, it's gonna have, because we have this stuff that we have to, of course, store, and the building doesn't really avail itself to, how do you get the snow blower up onto the loading dock? You don't, okay? So we need to get a shed. Well, okay, so that's been, we haven't really unpacked that, but where would we put it? And there was a shed placement by the police station, and so it allows us to, trust me, we're thinking outside. It has been on the facilities and equipment and stuff side. We had to talk teachers into buying things at some point, because they're not used to it. They didn't, well, some teachers, but many of them just said, I'm good. Just get me in the building. And they're like, well, wait a minute, what kind of chair, do you want what kind of chair do you want? And so they had to be talked into it. They certainly didn't go
'Cause
crazy.
we're not used to that.
Yeah, so we really did everything we asked for, with a very few exceptions, and I would have to defer, we got.
Okay, good.
We got. And there were some items on the periphery, not knowing how things were gonna go, that we were like, we better put a little mark next to this. But we
Well, I
needed-
think to, just to be able to speak to it if it comes up, is that we went in with an aggressive budget for outfitting the building with furniture. So we didn't go in with a huge budget. We knew it was gonna be
Right.
very difficult to do. So we put a challenge to the design team to, you know, get good quality items, but make those, stretch these dollars. And they did. And so
So we're
we were
not
able to
really
outfit the
going
whole-
above and
You know,
beyond.
furniture, we're really not, we're staying pretty much,
Right.
maybe a little outside our budget, but not crazy.
Right.
It was really, in the equipment where a lot of times it's brought from, you know, you're moving out of a school and into a school.
Right.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're moving out of 12,000 square feet where you had wood floors and you didn't have tools that you're gonna need in the new building. And so those are really the bulk of the things that really weren't identified. So the technology and furniture is pretty, I think technologies is right on target, and furniture is maybe a little bit outside of our budget, but it's just things that just made sense to do. But it was really the equipment that we kind
But
of,
it's not outside of the overall budget, obviously.
no.
Right, we couldn't possibly do that.
It's just outside of that one line item, which we
Right.
didn't have anything for. We had zero.
Right,
There's no
Okay.
gold-plated toilets. so
There's
we're
no
all
gold
set.
for the toilets.
there's no, right. Okay, thank
No,
you for answering that.
It's not
for
a
me.
military
I'll give you a great
$7,000
example.
hammer.
We talked about the hand dryers, right? Instead of going through, you know, because kids love to go rip through those paper towels, right?
Right, but we're gonna save money.
In the end, we will, but I guess if you looked at this, you go, oh, you're spending $7,000. That is
But over the
7,000, well,
life
we
of-
will save
right.
$7,000 probably in the first year,
Right.
in what we would have spent in paper towels, because we
Right.
just saw that at the middle school. That's
the
just like
middle
one
school,
very
right.
small example, but we went there, right? So we didn't go
Right.
with the cheaper version, we went with something that made sense.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I
Thank you.
think throughout, when this is done, when you look at the percentage of changes on the project total, not
We
just,
haven't
not
even-
just owner implemented changes or requested changes, but all changes, we have a very low percentage.
Right.
And you can look at the MSBA's website on what is typical, and you'll see that this is
We are
going very.
nothing, right,
yeah,
and
we're doing
people have
very well.
asked me that, and I have explained that.
Yeah, because that's what people want to know, how much it costs, what are they doing?
We're under budget and on time,
Yeah.
and most people don't hear that, and they just can't even, they're
We'll start
like,
off with that tonight.
Oh, I'm just saying,
Well,
most people
On time
don't
and
hear
on budget.
that.
I say it every meeting.
No,
That
of
was in my
course.
It's
evaluation
quite
that I just filled
impressive,
out.
to be honest. It's quite impressive.
In all ways, it's like a textbook,
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
This was
Except
a
for the first
very-
7
Yeah,
years.
no, go for it.
This was a
Except for
very
the first
thoughtful
7 years.
process.
The first 7 years.
It was not a
After
textbook.
that,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, but,
After that, it's been fun.
right,
That was how
I'm
not
just
to do
saying,
it.
it took a long time to get here, and it was well worth it. And every person that has been put into place outside and on the project has been high quality.
Well, it's good to hear financially that we're doing fabulous, because that is, of course, the discussion, no matter where we
Right.
are, anywhere, either together or alone. On time is what I've been saying, we are
Right.
inside, which I think you said it best, once you get inside, very little can slow, very little of the weather or whatever could really slow you down or stop you. So that's been awesome. I know that, people are inquiring now about, which is fantastic, about, geez, knowing fully well this is not the time, but when can we do tours? And we'd love to see the inside. That's just when it's ready, because they've, they're very, very interested in doing that, and, so
Well, that
it's-
is something to start thinking about for, because it's gonna be opening in the summer.
Yeah.
Do you do something before official start of school? Do you let people use the building, get some artwork done, and put some stuff on the walls, and kind of move in, and,
Emily's gonna-
until you
Emily
live in
has
it,
that as
even
questions.
if we had it done in June, and nobody's really using it until late August, you don't know about things that maybe aren't working quite right, and so you wanna live in it a little bit and kind of figure out
Right.
the kinks, and, they're always gonna be doing punch list and.
You guys didn't do the
commissioning.
Lunenburg project, correct?
I'm sorry?
The Lunenburg High School project? They had a pretty interesting thing that they did. So the building was completed, I think it was somewhere, it was at the end of the school year, May, June. And it ended up, no, actually, it was before that, a little before that. So they actually they went to school for the last, I think, a month in the building. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Last month of school, they went to school in it, which actually got them exactly what you said. Oh, gee, this, and it gave people time. Now, that's not what we'll be doing, of course, but Emily will be coming in to ask, or probably not tonight, but about a step-up day or something to the effect of during, let's just say it's done before the end of school, our school year, hypothetically. Is there a way to do that, or July, or, just get them in and start moving stuff in? How early can they do that? These are the questions that we're gonna eventually start peppering you with, right? So that we
Yeah,
can do our
you
planning.
start getting into, liability to have people in a building without a functioning life safety systems, fire alarm and stuff like that. So once,
But that'll be done in June.
That'll be-
It's also
Yeah.
depending on getting a TCO. They usually won't even consider letting you in
temporary.
until you get
well,
a
I don't even
TCO.
want a TCO, I want a CO.
Right, yeah, we
Um,
want the
but
certificate of occupancy, so that's the building inspector.
All I'm saying is
This is safe to occupy,
whatever the
so-
answer is, it'll be, but those are the questions that'll be, teachers want to know, because they are, of course, they're excited, but they are very, very particular and anal about moving. They just want to know what the plan is, they'll do whatever it takes. Will that be June? Will it be July? Will it be August?
Be August.
That's all I'm saying, those are the things. that-
It'll be August, and if you set that as the expectation, then if we can get them in for a tour, not say students, but maybe there's an opportunity to get 20 teachers to walk through in a couple different groups, so they can see where their classroom is gonna be and kinda get a sense, maybe we could do that, but I wouldn't put it out there yet, I would just
No,
kinda play
no,
it by
no.
ear.
Again, I'll let Emily ask the question.
Yeah, because
that's-
I just, inevitably, everything slows down at the end.
Yeah.
It's just, all of a sudden the contractor is 98% done, and so he sends his crew somewhere else, and he only got 2 guys, and then it just takes them a long time to finish, and the punch list, and so you want that stuff done. You want them out of the way and gone by the time you bring people in. But we are gonna be bringing in furniture and technology over the summer, and, so there will be, well, we probably will have the opportunity over the summer, if not before school gets out, to bring some teachers in, bring staff in.
Great.
It's not unusual. You know,
We need a motion. And like, do
I
we need a
can't imagine
motion
we're
for
gonna
these
have a problem
approvals?
from building officials, since she's never really around.
This visit, I guess, onto the site.
Will it be at this meeting or at the next meeting? So it'll be at this
We
meeting?
should do it now, and then we'll do
So
it
when-
again.
Yes. In the gang bathrooms, in the large bathrooms, not the single bathrooms.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve changes 37, 81, 88, 92, 93, 95, and 96. As they are, understanding that 95 is an estimate.
The other ones too, right?
Pardon?
Oh, we already did the other ones.
We
last
did the
meeting.
other ones via
Alright.
email.
So, second that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. so we'll recommend that to the full committee. All right.
And we're gonna go over this in the full building committee, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
You have to adjourn this. You have to
Do I
adjourn
make
this.
a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second, so moved. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.